Welcome back to Investing and Trading Live, sponsored by Online Trading Academy. Talking about the financial markets, and that is the stock market. We kind of broke that down a little bit on the last segment. We're going to get into other assets like futures, forex, options, maybe even some cryptocurrency, different income strategies that people are looking for here in America. We had a lot of people text in and some people calling in for this investing class that we're doing here locally. Al, it's been a pretty popular class to introduce people about the financial markets. If you're brand new to the markets, don't know a stock from a rock, or you've been in the markets for many years and are looking for more consistency, these classes are just for you. You can text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats. That's text investing to the number 210, or you can call 888-682-6466. That's 888-682-6466. That's for 2 seats for an investing class. Al teaches these. I teach these as well. And they're about 2 hours long, teaching people how to make smart investing decisions in their retirement accounts and trading accounts. So, Al, as I mentioned in that last segment, I want to talk a little bit about and unpack a little bit about why Americans are looking for more income strategies. And there's different reasons why people come to Online Trading Academy to have that opportunity to do different things. I mean, just think about somebody, in their working years, and they're going to work every single day. Mm-hmm. They may be tired of it, and they're trying to save for that one time when they want to retire. That's retirement. But their income doesn't build enough, or they don't get enough to be able to save for that. So they're having struggles with feeling, are they going to have enough for retirement? Are they going to have enough to stay retired if they are retired? So there's just some struggles out there. So that's, kind of one of the reasons why I think a lot of people come to Online Trading Academy is they want to have that opportunity to do both. Mm-hmm. I want you to break that down a little bit and explain a little bit about what are some of those income strategies that people have the opportunity to use during their working years, or I should say, or during retirement.
Okay, well, one of the things that we're finding, Josh, is that people are coming in, you mentioned looking for additional income because wage growth has not kept up with inflation. We had low inflation for a long time, and now all of a sudden inflation has just come in hot and heavy, and wage growth, we're still seeing increase in wages, which is helping to fuel inflation, but the wage growth is not keeping up with inflation. So everybody, almost every income bracket is feeling the hit from inflation. Yeah. So one of the things that people need to do in their financial life is to put something away for retirement. And the way you do that, the way you fund a retirement account is to have more income in your income bucket, so to speak, than you need, so you have that extra kind of that overflow to put into the retirement part of it. And I think income is probably the most important component. We look at it, really, your financial life in 2 components or 2 buckets. One is that income accumulation phase, and the other is the retirement, the wealth phase. And in order to do that wealth bucket, to fill that wealth bucket, retirement bucket, you have to first increase the amount of money coming into the income bucket. And I think people are mistakenly kind of guided by Wall Street to think there is one way of investing, and that's all you need. And what we do in these classes that you're talking about, these free classes, we eliminate the confusion that's out there and talk about why there's a different way of approaching the market for income than there is for wealth. There's 2 different ways of doing that, and most people are only participating in one of the 2 ways and missing out on that income portion. Remember, I mentioned an effective strategy in that first segment, and the point is that to have an effective strategy, it's not something that's where you're basing your decisions on your opinions or somebody else's opinion, but based on what objectively impacts price and when that impact will occur. All the information you need is on a price chart. Opinions can be wrong. Opinions actually can be lies or just misrepresented facts, and are not facts. Actually, opinions are just basically guesses. But what we want to do is concentrate on facts. And then the thing to remember that's important, because you use the same strategy no matter what you're using, what part of the financial market you're looking at participating in, whether it's for income or for wealth. We have that same strategy, that effective strategy that's based on facts. And then also you have to know this is probably the number one thing that people need to know. You have to learn how to not lose before you can learn how to profit. And a lot of people stay away from the markets, shy away from them, don't participate to get their full potential because they're concerned about the loss part. And that's understandable. But in these classes, we talk to you about how that risk portion can be controlled, how you can manage that. If you look at high profits or high rewards, everybody agrees that high risk goes along with that. So if you can control the risk and still have the opportunity to participate in the high profit potential trades and investments, that's what you want to try to achieve. And I think what's happened in 2022, most of the public either lost money or they're sitting on the sidelines losing money to inflation or losing buying power to inflation. Up until 2022, it was kind of easy. The markets kind of followed the same patterns. It was the market was consistently up. Every once in a while, it pulled back, and then that was buying the dip. People would buy when it went down, knowing that the Fed was going to come in and do something to boost the market up. That no longer is the case. The Fed is doing the opposite of what they did before, so it has made it more challenging for people that aren't educated to know how to maneuver this market in a way that's profitable for them. So there's one thing that always works, always has worked, and always will work, and that's price movement. So how do you use that in your favor? Price movement, think about it. If you are going to get into an investment or trade, you want it to move a certain direction. If you're buying, if you're opening a position by buying something, you want the price to go up. If you're exiting a position by selling, or if you're shorting, which is a way of making money in a down market, you want the price to go down. And if there was a way of identifying what makes that happen, what will impact the market in a way that makes prices go up, what will impact it in a way that makes prices go down, would that not be something that would be valuable for you to learn and to use? That's what our core strategy, and that's what we call it, core strategy. It's our investment strategy, which is based on the things that I mentioned in that first section, the supply zones and the demand zones. Where are the buyers? Where are the unfilled buy orders? Where are the unfilled sell orders? And when are they going to become active? If you can identify those with a high degree of accuracy, your odds of being successful are significantly improved.
Yeah, I believe that's the key word there, Al, is the odds. Anytime you do anything, you want to have the odds in your favor. That way you can have low risk, high reward, high probability entry points in the markets. And I think you mentioned a term, something about some people are afraid to not lose, or what was that term you said?
People are afraid to not get involved because of they're afraid of that word, that loss, losing.
That's why, that's a great comment, because once you understand how to protect what you have, that's how you can grow it. You're going to have small losses. But think of it this way, is if you have let's say, it's Christmas time and Home Alone has been on TV. And, they go for their Christmas trip, and, they're gathering, they're counting all the people, and they're making sure they have everybody. Well, they went on the trip and they forgot young little Kevin, Macaulay Culkin, at home. So they didn't keep what they had when they went on that trip. So that is the same thing in the financial markets. You have to keep what you have, otherwise things will disappear. And that's right. Protecting your positions. Yep. And that's what we train and teach at Online Trading Academy is how to protect what you have so that loss may be really, really small. So instead of losing little Kevin, maybe you forgot to bring a bear with you, or forgot to bring a stuffed animal of some sort, or a car for one of the children. Small loss. And that's the same thing in the financial markets. Hopefully I was able to paint a little picture there. It's Halloween season. It's Christmas season. And for our listeners to understand that it's kind of the same type of concept. It's just the financial markets. If you want to learn more about these techniques on how to protect what you have, but how to have more odds in your favor in trading and investing, we have these classes. We have locally here at the Academy. You can text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats for a class. They're about 2 hours long, and we have these during the week, also on the weekend. Text the word investing to the number 210 right now for 2 seats for this class locally here. So, Al, with some of the reasons why people are looking for more income strategies, they need to know and understand the different assets to have the opportunity to do more with less. What I mean by that is to have, think of it as, we had a sports theme last week, and I'm going to kind of bring that back here again this week. If you to do more with less, the same thing in sports would be like having a prime, let's call it a football team. They've been training, they've been practicing, they've been lifting weights, they've been doing whatever it is they've been doing to get their body right, and they have their team formed, but they're ready to go. They're using the right tools and the right skills that they have built through training, right? That would be like playing a team that doesn't do any training, doesn't lift weights, and doesn't have the right cleats on, the right helmets, or whatever that may be. So what you need is to have those right tools and the right assets to be able to do that, the right equipment, the right tools, the right weight machines. And that's kind of the difference between in sports. But you can do more with less, which would mean if you have a team that's trained and have been working to get ready for these games, maybe you have 11 people, or you have 20 people on a different team that hasn't trained. They have to have more people. So by doing more with less, hopefully that was a good explanation. I think I confused a lot of people there. I almost confused Al here, but that's the same thing in the financial markets, is being in the right asset for what you want to use it for.
Sure.
Explain those different assets, Al.
Yeah, another way of explaining that would be just looking at golf. When you go out to play golf, nobody plays 18 holes with a putter or with a driver. You have different clubs for different parts of the game. And the same thing isn't true as in investing. The stock market is one asset. That's what most people are familiar with. And included in that asset would be mutual funds. Mutual funds are combinations of stocks. But those are great for long-term build-up portfolios. But if you need additional income, it can't be something that you achieve in 10 or 20 or 30 years. How are people achieving income now? Well, one way is dividend stocks or bonds, fixed income. But all those fixed income assets have been underperforming inflation so far. In fact, for a long time, we had basically real negative returns on a real basis. When you look at the returns of a fixed income portfolio compared to inflation, you were actually losing money. So that hasn't worked out. So what can you do? Well, there are assets that all of the big players, all of the successful investors in this world use for short-term income. And you mentioned, I think, you mentioned leverage without saying leverage, and that's using a small amount of money to actually control something much bigger, very much like a mortgage. Not many people, have $400,000 or $500,000 or $1 million sitting around their house that they just bring in and put down on a table to buy a house. They take out a mortgage, and maybe for $20,000 or $30,000, you control a $400,000 or $500,000 home. You can do the same thing in the financial markets using assets like futures, the foreign exchange market, which people call Forex, and options. They trade with leverage, which gives you the opportunity to have a small account but control something that's a significant multiple of that. It could be 10 to 1 or 20 to 1 or 50 to 1 or 100 to 1. That's how you maximize the value of your assets. Kind of look at every dollar you have as an employee. If you had a business and you hired people and one person came in every day, just went over in the corner, laid down and slept all day, that person would not be productive for you. Do the same thing with each dollar. Look at it as an employee. Get the maximum productivity out of it using leverage.
Yeah, and when Al's talking about a small account, it's relative. That small could be $1,000 to some people. Small could be $10,000. Small could be $50,000. Small could be $100,000.
Sure.
So there's opportunities, no matter which bracket you're in or which place you're in, to have income strategies on top of your job. If you want to learn more about these strategies, we have classes here locally. You can text the word investing to the number 210 for 2 seats, or you can call 888-682-6466. That's 2 seats for this investing class locally here at Academies. So, Al, I want to continue that discussion about these other assets. We didn't get enough time to talk about that. But using those other assets, futures, Forex, options, in all accounts, income accounts, and 401ks and IRAs. Coming up next, don't leave. We'll be right back.